Rodgers. Meanwhile, he's got some concerns, but he's going to his darkness retreat, so that should help. The Jets are trying to gain that clarity as well. A talented team that needs to iron out their quarterback situation. Peter King had an interesting take on how New York should maneuver this. Take a listen.
The number one step would be Aaron Rodgers. If that doesn't work, could the number two step be Lamar Jackson? I think they will at least put their sniffers out and seriously consider Lamar Jackson.
All right, I got two Jets with me. I got a New Yorker and the man who named him that bad man. All right, Stephen A., tell me this. Who should the Jets go after if both Rodgers and Lamar are available?
I'm going to tell you Lamar Jackson. I'm going to tell you Lamar Jackson. We all know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. And I hope that he ends up landing in New York. But to ask that question, I have to take into consideration the roster that the Jets have available to them and what Lamar Jackson will mean long term. Now, I know I sound a bit hypocritical because I just brought up my concerns about him not being available in the latter part of the season due to injuries. I'm not saying he's faking any injuries, but I don't think that Lamar Jackson has this passion to always play for the Baltimore Ravens, considering the contract situation that's been ongoing for more than a year, okay? Along with, obviously, Greg Roman is gone now. You were educating me about how he's been wanting Greg Roman gone, but he was there up until a couple of weeks ago or so. So you got to take all of that in consideration, take into consideration the unhappiness that exists with Lamar Jackson, and wonder that if he was in a situation where he was that dude and you were playing a brand of football that he wanted to play, and you had the requisite personnel around him, a la Garrett Wilson, the Breece Halls of the world, and maybe a couple of other pieces that Douglas, the GM, could clearly get them. I'm thinking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers is year to year wondering as to whether or not he's going to play, what type of retreat he's going to go on, what type of cleanse he's going to put his body through, how many years he's got or months or weeks he's got left. I ain't worried about that with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson want to get paid, and he's planning on playing for years and years to come. I think the long game is what you play if you're the New York Jets and you go get him. To me, it should be reversed. Let me see what I can get for Lamar Jackson. Let me see what I have to give up rather than get Lamar Jackson. And if I can't pull that off, then I go after Aaron Rodgers. But my target would be Lamar Jackson if I could pull it off. I'm satisfied with either one of them now because the Jets need them both desperately, either one of them desperately. But if I had my druthers and I could pick and choose who I wanted to go after first without worrying about it getting in the way or getting one or the other, I would pursue Lamar Jackson. Go ahead, Coach.
I think you go after both. No, I think you go after both. That's my opinion. You go after both. And you make a great point about Lamar Jackson. The long term, you get Aaron Rodgers. It's the short term. He's 39 years old, as we know. I do know this. The offense that they would like to run is the West Coast offense, similar to San Francisco. Aaron Rodgers has been in the West Coast offense. There's no doubt about that. He is right now a better passer than Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson can't do it. He'll have enough weapons. He'll have enough weapons to do that. But I think you go after both guys, because if you go after one, it's not guaranteed you're getting him. You have to play poker now. You have to go after both of these guys. That helps your football team. There's no doubt about it. It's a division where you got to deal with Josh Allen. And if Tua can stay healthy, guys, Tua is a 34-touchdown quarterback. He had 25 this year. Those two receivers he has, 1,000 yards, and they get a dadgum tight end there. He's the real deal, Tua now. So you're going to have to deal with that offense as well. You're going to have to score points if you're the New York Jets. I know they have an outstanding defense. I get all that. I'll tell you this. The Philadelphia Eagles had an outstanding defense, too. You know how many points they gave up in the Super Bowl? So it's a scoring league. And when you get quarterbacks that can score points, that helps you.
I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. It's not even close. And I think we don't understand how talented this man is. He may be one of the most talented players I've ever seen behind the center. Right now, I await the day that he gets the same consideration that Josh Allen gets by getting a Stephon Diggs and a Gabe Davis. I can't wait till we get the same consideration that Joe Burrow gets with a T. Higgins, a Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. We haven't seen Lamar Jackson hasn't scratched the surface. And he's 26 years old, and I think we underestimate. This is Michael Vick, the evolution of Michael Vick. Everything we thought Michael Vick could be. This is what Lamar Jackson is. And listen, Joe Douglas has a relationship with the Baltimore Ravens. He understands that's where he got to start from. Chad Alexander, the head of college scouting, was there when Lamar Jackson was drafted as Ozzie Newsom's last draft pick. If anybody can pull this off, it should be the Jets because of the intimate relationships they have with the Baltimore Ravens. But Lamar Jackson is a superior talent. I think you can solidify the quarterback position for the next 15 years. Like, he's a guy that I think when they allow him to play the quarterback position, I think he's going to surprise everybody with his arm talent, not just his leg talent as well, especially where this game is going, where you're isolating athletes in space. That's what Jalen Hurts does at a high level. Kyler Murray does at a high level. Josh Allen does at a high level. Nobody does it at a better level in being able to isolate talented, all-pro caliber players in space than Lamar Jackson. And he gave us a glimpse of that. I know he hasn't been healthy the last 2 years, but let's talk about the last 2 years before he got injured. He had the Baltimore Ravens in the first place in a tough division with not as many weapons, not half the weapons as any of those other teams within those divisions. When you talk about Deshaun Watson and the array of weapons that he has, when you talk about Joe Burrow, he had his guys right there. I want to see him unleashed. I want to see what Lamar Jackson's ceiling is.
Well, listen, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Obviously, I started off this segment by talking about Lamar Jackson. But let's not act like he's arrived and we've been ignoring it. The fact of the matter is that, yes, he's been a league MVP. Yes, he's been mercurial and stellar in the regular season. But he's left a lot to be desired in the offseason. Before, it was because he was an absentee performer.
Yep.
Now, just because he's an absentee. You can't just ignore that.
But we have
I'm just saying, the point is that, yeah, he's got to do some things. You know, they got to get him some more help. They got to get him better players. Organizationally, they got to step up. Nobody's refuting that. We all know Lamar Jackson is a stud. He's big time. He deserves his money. Yes, $200 million guaranteed. Yes, he does. But the flip side is that he don't need to be walking around like he has arrived and he has achieved all there is to achieve. There's a lot that he could do as well.
Of course.
So let's make sure we remember that. Because you're right, Coach. He ain't no better thrower than Aaron Rodgers. Now, I hope you're not implying that.
No. But one thing you got to do with him that you don't have to do with Aaron Rodgers is put that eighth man in the box. That creates a lot of space for those receivers to roam because you're not going too high.
What you mean you don't have to do that with who? You don't have to do that with Lamar Jackson?
You have to do that with Lamar Jackson. You don't have to do that because of the running threat that he is. You have to bring a spy down, which opens up the passing game like Aaron Rodgers.
But that's assuming you got cats that can get downfield. It's a lot easier to spy when people ain't running about 5 or 10 yard route.
You just said Garrett Wilson.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
You just said Elijah Moore.
That's one.
And
I didn't say Elijah Moore. I didn't say Elijah Moore. I said Garrett Wilson.
And also you have to address his passion thing because he didn't have to step on the field this year, and he stepped on the field without a contract. And every one of us here at this station said don't go.
Was that passion or pride? Because I'm going to show you. I thought he should have sat out and not played.
He could have pouted like Kyler Murray. And they would have had he could have pouted, and they would have had to give him his money.
I think, well, you could call it that way. I personally, not calling him any names, but that decision, I thought it was stupid. Football is the most violent sport, arguably, well, not more violent than UFC, but it's violent, damn it. The fact of the matter is this. Lamar Jackson should have never stepped out on the field.
The passion.
He's lucky that he didn't have a career-ending injury or a season-ending. I mean, shoot, it was season-ending, was career-ending. He should have never stepped out on the field until he had his bag. That's quite stupid.
But he did it because he loved the game. So you can't question his passion.
Okay. All right. I mean, you might be right.
Yeah, you can't question that. But you can't question this. He has not been available for the whole season in 2 years. And there lies the problem, guys. At the end of the day, look, I've been a head coach. I've sat in those meetings with owners and with the GMs. And he's a great player. There's no doubt about that. But to get guaranteed money, they're asking themselves this question. This guy hasn't finished a year in 2 seasons. He hadn't finished it. And so we want to pay him, but we want to pay him fairly. And Lamar, you're right. If they franchise Lamar Jackson this year, I'm with Stephen A. He shouldn't show up. Because last year he played and got hurt. And now, by him getting hurt, they're using that against him.
Hey, guys, expert analysis.
That's how it works, guys. That's the meeting room that I sit in as a head coach.
Expert analysis, but an expert closing point. I'll end it by saying this. Those who are reliable get paid. Remember that. Those who are reliable.
Availability.
No,
Get paid.
no, I'll do it better. The best ability is
availability.
availability.
Thank you, Molly.